Good morning, boys and girls. We are going to be reading a book today, and it is called The Colors and Sounds of Kandinsky's Abstract Art, The Noisy Paint Box. Ooh, I love the inside cover because I can see this beautiful paint palette and some paint tools. That makes me excited to paint, and I've not even read the book yet. All right, the noisy paint box. Vasya Kandinsky spent his days learning to be a proper Russian boy. He studied bookfuls of math, science, and history. Now, if I'm looking at the colors of these two pages, they kind of give me a certain feeling. And when you look at it, does it give you a certain feeling as well? Yeah, he looks kind of unhappy. Maybe he's bored with what he's learning about. And we call these more moody colors. They're kind of dulled down. He practiced piano scales to the marching click of the metronome. He sat stiff and straight at dressed-up dinners with the grown-ups while they talked and talked and talked. You can see that he's rolling his eyes, and the colors are still pretty dull. Vasya's well-off world was perfectly polite until the day his aunt gave him a small wooden paint box. Every proper Russian boy should appreciate art, said Auntie. She showed Vasya the correct way to mix colors on the paint box palette. Looks like something piqued his interest there. Vasya mixed red with yellow. Then he mixed red with blue. As the colors changed, Vasya heard a whisper hiss, louder hiss, then louder still hiss. What's that sound? Asked Vasya. I don't hear a thing, said Auntie.
Sorry for the interruption. Just wanted to remind students if they had chocolate candy money, please bring it to the office at this time. Please bring any candy money to the office. Thank you.
So sorry, if you have chocolate money, be sure to take that down. All right, back to our book. What's that sound? Asked Vasya. I don't hear a thing, said Auntie. Vasya listened as his brush stirred and swished. The swirling colors trilled like an orchestra tuning up for a magical symphony. Mama, Papa, called Vasya. What a noisy paint box. Silly Vasily, said Papa. Stop being foolish, said Mama. What do you think about the colors shown here as he's kind of mixing them up in his palette? Does that give you a certain emotion compared to at the beginning when the colors were a little bit darker and dull? They're starting to swirl and be more colorful. Yep, and we just learned that certain lines and color can help us show emotion, so that's a good example. Vasya painted the sound of colors. He spun a bright lemon circle onto the canvas. It clinked like the highest notes on the keyboard. He brushed a powerful navy rectangle that vibrated deeply like the lowest cello strings. He tossed up jagged swashes of glaring crimson and added cheerful dots of blurbing green, clanging orange, and tinkling violet. Vasya painted and painted until the colors went quiet. Look what I made, shouted Vasya. Is it a house? Asked Auntie. Is it a flower? Asked Mamma. What's it supposed to be? Asked Papa. It's music, said Vasya, waltzing his painting around the house. Calm down, said Mamma. Do some math, said Papa. Heavens, said Auntie. This boy needs a proper art class. So Vasya went to art class and learned to draw houses and flowers just like everyone else. As the years passed, Vasya finished school and studied to be a lawyer. He ignored his noisy paint box and lived the way people expected. But Vasya couldn't ignore the sounds of the colors singing to him in the streets of Moscow. The canary-colored mailbox whistling as he rode to work, the scarlet sunset haze ringing above the ancient Kremlin walls. An ivory chorus of snowflakes scattered on the sable collar of his overcoat. One evening, suitably steamed and starched, Vasya attended the opera. As the orchestra's music crashed around him, the colors of the noisy paintbox twirled wildly in his mind. Stomping lines of vermilion and coral, caroling triangles in pistachio and garnet, thundering acres of aqua and ebony, with shrill points of cobalt and saffron. Vasya heard the colors singing. Vasya saw the music dancing. And Vasya was never quite as proper again. He quit his job teaching law and moved from Moscow to Munich to be a painter. He studied with this famous teacher and then that one. Is it a house? Is it a flower? What is it supposed to be? His teachers asked. Vasya wanted to paint the colors he heard, but maybe the famous teachers knew best. Once again, Vasya put houses and flowers, animals and people into his paintings, just like everyone expected. The teachers were happy. Vasya was not. His artist friends understood. They too were tired of painting pretty landscapes and pretty ladies. They thought art needed to change. Art should make you feel, Vasya told them, like music. Exactly, said his friends, but none of them knew how to paint feelings. Until the day Vasya grew brave enough and invited the world to see the paintings roaring from his noisy paintbox. Bash, rattle, hiss, whistle, murmur, zip, clang, tweet. Snapping cerulean points, crunching crimson squares, whispering charcoal lines. Vasya named these paintings after the music he loved: improvisation, composition, accompaniment, fugue, movement, and simply three sounds. With his noisy paintbox, Vasya Kandinsky created something entirely new: abstract art. Have you heard any of these terms in music class? I love that art and music can go together. Now we have a keyword here, abstract art, so keep that one in mind. It took a long time for people to understand. Is it a house? Is it a flower? What is it supposed to be? It's my art, Vasya answered. How does it make you feel? And that's the end of our book. So Vasya, when he was little, right, he loved painting with his noisy paint box. And before that, he was kind of sad and lonely and didn't really have a way of expressing himself. So he created something that he enjoyed, which was painting abstract art. So we saw that word. If you had a guess of what that word means from reading the book, what would you say? Yeah, so abstract art doesn't mean realistic. It uses a lot of shapes and forms and colors and textures. Where else have you heard those words? We've been studying something. Yep, we've been studying the elements of art, and we've been learning a lot about shapes and forms and colors and lines and how those can bring about different emotions. So what do you think would be the opposite of abstract art? Yep, realistic art. And that would be something like photography that documents real life in an accurate way. And a lot of you have been interested in drawing in a hyper realistic way. And that is also very true to life. You probably couldn't even tell the difference from a photograph. All right, does anybody want to comment on how the book made them feel? Did it inspire you to make some different art? What do you think? Noisy paint box. All right, well, I hope you all are inspired and feeling creative and ready to kind of express yourself through art in your own way today. And thank you for being so quiet and answering the questions that I had. Good job.